support.
And that brings to a close questions for oral answer today. I call on Government Order of the Day number 1.
Social Security Benefit Categories and Work Focus Amendment Bill, first reading.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Social Security Benefit Categories and Work Focus Amendment Bill now be read a first time, and I nominate the Social Services Committee to consider the bill. Mr Speaker, the changes in this bill form part of a comprehensive package of welfare reforms staged over 2 years. These reforms will fundamentally shift the focus of the benefit system towards encouraging and supporting more people into paid work. The status quo is not an option any longer. I do not for one moment underestimate what I am asking people to do, but I'm backing them to be able to do it. Every time the opposition cries beneficiary bashing, I simply just see people that are ignorant of the effects of the welfare trap. It's not enough to feel sorry for people trapped on welfare and do nothing. The left's answer is to transfer people between benefits and throw more money at them. I am far more ambitious for them than that. I will back, cajole, encourage and incentivise people.
Order. Would members please leaving the chamber do so quietly? I call the Honourable Minister Paula Bennett.
I will back, cajole, encourage and incentivise people to get work ready, to take up the jobs as they become available and to get ahead in life. There is a compelling case for investing up front. We already spend around $8 billion a year on welfare, but we're seeing intergenerational welfare dependence. By investing in people sooner, we can actually start to break that cycle. Through this bill, the investment approach will target resources to those who are likely to end up welfare dependent without some extra support. Actuaries have done a detailed valuation of the total future liability of the benefit system and have that at around $78 billion. That's based on the expected length of time individuals will stay on benefit, given that we know that some will stay on for 10 weeks, some for 10 months and some for 10 years. That gives us a clear basis for targeting more money, more support, more resource to the right people at the right time. Too many New Zealanders have been stuck in a system that provides little incentive to get out for too long. This bill will change that, Mr Speaker. And this is the next step in a concerted program of reforms. At the end of July this year, the Social Security Youth Support and Work Focus Amendment Act 2012 passed into law. The new youth service kicked off in August, and community providers are already working closely with our young people to connect them back into education, training or work-based learning. From the 15th of October this year, sole parents will be expected to look for part-time work when their youngest is 5 and full-time when their youngest is 14 years old. Most New Zealanders, I think, see that as reasonable. Similar expectations will apply to those on the woman alone and the widow's benefit. Those without dependent children will be expected to be available for full-time work. This new bill represents the largest structural change of the Social Security Act in decades. Central to reforms in this bill is the introduction of 3 new benefits: job seeker support, sole parent support and the supported living payment, to replace 7 categories of main benefit. The emergency benefit is not being changed. This will modernise and simplify the benefit system. It removes outdated offensive terms like the invalid's benefit and reinforces the fact most beneficiaries can work and want to work. Job seeker support brings together people on the unemployment, sickness, women alone and widows, and sole parents with children aged 14 years or older, and those that do not have children. Those on job seeker support will be expected to be available for and looking for full-time work. There will be some who are able only to work part-time and some who will be exempt for work for a period of time. Bringing sickness beneficiaries into job seeker support marks a fundamental shift in attitude to support beneficiaries to get back to work as soon as possible. It will also increase the number of people on this benefit to 135,000. Just as the health benefits of work are well documented, we know the health costs of unemployment are high. Professor Sir Mansell Elwood recently in New Zealand said, and I quote, "After 6 months of unemployment, each additional day out of work is as detrimental to your health as smoking 200 cigarettes." We know work can play a vital role in recovery, and the worst thing we could do is actually leave people with illness on benefits long-term with no support. This bill won't do that. As with the current unemployment benefit, the new job seeker support will require people to reapply for the benefit after 12 months. Through the future-focused changes we made in 2010, this change has seen thousands cancel their benefits. Many had already found work and no longer needed it. This bill also includes flexibility to apply this to other benefit types in the future. Sole parent support replaces the DPB for sole parents and widows benefit for parents whose youngest child is under the age of 14. Those with children over 5 will be expected to be available for part-time work and to be preparing for work before then. This benefit is expected to have around 87,000 people on it, because those previously on the DPB with children over 14 will have moved to the job seeker support. Supported living payment merges the invalid's benefit and the DPB care for sick or infirm. Benefit eligibility for these groups will not change. We recognise some people will never be able to work to support themselves, or as full-time carers may not be able to. Because we are bringing those carers for those caring for others into this benefit, the numbers on this benefit will increase to 91,000. Changing the name is significant. It removes the outdated and demeaning attitude that disabled people or those with serious health conditions have nothing to contribute. I had many representations about the name and will be interested after submissions to see what the Select Committee recommendations are. Those with very disabling, long-lasting or terminal conditions will have streamlined access to the supported living payment. They'll be offered day services, supported employment and community participation. Mr Speaker, current provisions for people on the as it is now invalids benefit to try out paid work and return to a benefit seamlessly if it does not work out will remain under the supported living payment. People in the current benefit streams will automatically transfer, the bill makes a request for this, to the new appropriate benefit on the 15th of July 2013. Beneficiaries expected to be available for work will be required to take up suitable employment opportunities. Simply put, if there is a good job and they're suitable, they should take it. In the current climate, a job is an opportunity not to be missed, and as we know, one job leads to another as people improve their circumstances. Mr Speaker, I believe that we need to send a clear signal about what it means to refuse work. For this reason, the bill introduces a 13-week stand-down if a beneficiary fails to accept an offer of suitable employment without a good and sufficient reason. This is the same sanction that applies to people who become voluntarily unemployed, either because they quit a job or were dismissed due to misconduct. Mr Speaker, I think it's important to note that the new benefit categories and associated rules would have meant a reduction in benefit levels for some if we didn't fix that. I've ensured safeguards in this bill to protect the higher benefit rates of those currently on the Women's Alone and Widows benefit. I'm also keeping the same abatement rules for those that are transferring to the job seeker. If we hadn't done that, that meant that those like the DPB with children aged 14 years or over, that on the DPB get a part-time abatement, when they move to job seeker would have been on a full-time. We're actually going to keep them on the part-time abatement and leave them there so they have that opportunities. Mr Speaker, some speed mentions, if you like, because this is a huge bill and has a lot in it, will be at the Select Committee for the full time so that they can really go through it. But as I think we've already said, there will be pre-benefit activities. We are also looking at drug tests for those that are particularly on the job seeker, and there is a job that is available that requires one. They must be able to do that. Overseas absences is being also looked at, so with beneficiaries with obligations to be looking for or preparing for work will not get a benefit while overseas, except in exceptional circumstances. I think that is fair and reasonable. This will not affect superannuants or those on the war pension or veterans pension. Work and Income will gather more information about people to determine what they can do and what sort of support they may need to get into work. The bill also provides that the Work and Income with the ability to require beneficiaries to work with contracted service providers. As well signalled, Mr Speaker, there will be social obligations that will require parents to have their children enrolled in ECE from age 3, enrolled in and attending school and enrolled with a GP and getting well child checks. As well indicated, Mr Speaker, there will be warrants to arrest. And those for warrants to arrest will have their benefits stopped after 38 days unless they clear them. There's also changes in the bill, Mr Speaker, that enables the Ministry of Social Development to improve the way it procures goods and services for welfare recipients, and it clarifies some things around sanctions. Mr Speaker, this is a significant bill. Commend it to the House. I wish the Select Committee good travels as they hear submissions from New Zealanders and will report back. I commend this bill to the House.
Thank you. The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr Speaker.